Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Suhail, and I am the principal consultant at Redington for Analytics, IoT, and RPA. A very good afternoon to all of you, and I hope all of you are doing great. And I believe my voice is audible. Just let me check if my voice is audible to you guys or not. Okay, okay, I believe yes, it's audible. Yeah. So today I would be talking about how you can use Microsoft Outlook for the purpose. How you can use Outlook to augment intelligence across your organization. We have a lot of business intelligence tools, analytical tools out there in the market like Power BI, Tableau, Click. That acts as an independent BI platform. Okay, but how about like if you empower your organizations or your workforce with Outlook, like making your organizations access all the critical data at Outlook? Just imagine how it will empower your workforce, the kind of decisions that they will be able to take within a matter of few seconds. So this is what I would be talking about, how you can supercharge your Outlook emails through a feature called HyperIntelligence. So HyperIntelligence is basically a feature that has been introduced by MicroStrategy. Okay. You might be wondering like what HyperIntelligence is all about. So HyperIntelligence is all about zero-click analytics, wherein you are actually injecting the insights. Okay, you are basically injecting the insights across for all your enterprise data across the organization directly into your email box. So this means that you are basically eliminating the need to access various BI tools like Power BI, Click, Tableau, SAP Business Objects, and like multiple tools out there in the market. So you are basically eliminating the need to access a different BI platform, and you are getting all the enterprise data directly into your app. Okay, and this is one of the good things. And now you might be wondering that why do I need to access all my enterprise data in the Outlook when I have this powerful capable BI tools? So for this, what I would say is that, like in a typical scenario, if you wherein you have like senior top notch executives working with an organization, okay, what is the most common tool, or what is the most common platform that people actually work on a day to day basis? One of the most common platform that a lot of people within the organization use is actually the Outlook, and all of you will agree with me on this. And when it comes to other platform, like some of the people are really hesitant or not that technology savvy to access these platforms. So keeping that into consideration, so HyperIntelligence basically was zero-click analytics. So HyperIntelligence, as I had mentioned earlier, it's all about injecting analytics directly into the application that you use on a daily basis. This can be any kind of application. It can be any web-based application. Okay, it can be an Outlook. Now, when it comes to the web-based application, what I mean to say is that you can run this on top of Oracle ERP. You can just run on top of SAP, S4 HANA Cloud. You can run this on Dynamics. You can run this on Salesforce. You can run this on Freshworks. No matter what software you have, if it is a web-based application, you can run it on it. And this HyperIntelligence, the feature from MicroStrategy, it's basically available in three different forms. Okay, you can you can on four different forms. You can have it on top of the words. You can have this HyperIntelligence embedded directly into your mobile. Okay, and then you can have on the screens and objects in the places. Coming to the next scheme, so another feature that you have with the HyperIntelligence is that it actually brings you the relevant and the contextual answers to the end users. There is no need for you to navigate through the vast volume of data that is lying across the organization. What HyperIntelligence does is that it will give you crisp, precise data at the palm of your hand or at the application that you're using at. As I mentioned earlier, there are various web-based applications that you can integrate this HyperIntelligence application with. But for the sake of today's discussion, I would like to show you how you can integrate this application, this HyperIntelligence feature, directly with your Outlook, and how it can help you take right decisions at the right point and at the right time. You know, taking right decisions at the right time, it's really crucial for an organization. I mean, all organizations these days have data floating around within their enterprise. It's so it's it's all about empowering your people with the right data at the right time. Okay. So how this hyper intelligence comes into the feature is that there is something called as hypercards that is actually used to display the data. Okay. So the data that you view on your Outlook is actually done through something called as hypercard. This is one example of the hypercard that you can see on your screen right now. For example, I mean, a hypercard basically can be created on any what do you call, on like on any entity that you have across the organization, like on any kind of reporting that you need to do in your organization, you can create a hypercard on top of that. In this example, you can see you can create for the employees, for the customers, for your activity, like whatever activities you have various use cases within your organization. I mean, you have your tickets, I mean, troubleshooting tickets for your IT. Then you have the account activity. Then you have the product-based hypercards. You have the place. I mean, you have a lot of them, and this is how the cards actually look like. The one you see at the top is basically a header, which actually contains the information, master information, and the body that you see is actually the key KPI figures with respect to that particular entity within the hypercard. Okay. In this example that you can see is that I can see the master information of someone called Nathan Zahar. Okay. And here are the key KPI information for this. I mean, this card can be utilized by an HR information to see like what is the tenure of a particular person within an organization, what is level of education, and if he's a salesperson, what kind of booking he has done. Okay. And what is his customer satisfaction, how do customers rate him, what is available, like what is his billing rate, right? So these things, I mean, these are the key KPI information that can actually be used by your HR department. So these hypercards are basically, I would say, can be basically it can be used by within any department within your organization. So instead of going through the standard procedure of taking you through the slides, I would like to directly show you how hyper cards actually empower you. Okay. Just let me log on to my email, and I will show you how this can be done. Web, just hold on a second. Office. Yeah. I'm just Let me log into my email. Okay, I have my Outlook. Fine. It's taking a bit of time. Please hang on with me. It shouldn't be taking this much time. Okay. Okay, just let's wait for it to come. Okay. So so basically, in this example, that I want to talk to you about how you can supercharge your emails. Okay. Now this is my email body, right? And for example, let's suppose I am a sales manager or a customer service manager at a car servicing shop center. Okay. Now I need to know the status reports of the car that are within my workshop and what is the status repair report like and whatnot. So in a typical scenario, what will I do? Okay, as a sales manager at a workshop car center, what I will do is that I'll basically drop an email to my IT team or my reporting team or my business teams who are basically responsible for providing me the reports, saying that please give me the status, I mean, the status completion report of a particular car number. Okay. I mean, I might have 10, 15 cars that I need to have a status report because these cars are basically dealing with high end customers. So this is what I would usually do is just send an email. But what if I'm empowered with the power of hyperintelligence or the hypercars that I was talking about? For example, there is a particular car with a plate number 7311. Let's take this 7311. Okay. I just Yeah, for the moment, just let me check. Apologies, just I need to enable some web services. My email, it's taking a bit of time. Yeah, yes. Okay, okay, okay. And this is actually a web service that you install on top of your browser to enable the HyperIntelligence. Okay, so let's assume that, like as I was talking earlier, that you are a sales manager of a workshop center, and you need to have a status reports of the cars that of particular set of cars. Okay, so what in a typical scenario, as I said earlier, I would be talking to my IT teams or the business teams that are basically responsible for providing me with this data. Okay, so instead of relying on the IT teams or the management information teams, so like what I can do is that when I can go to my mail, okay, I have the list of card numbers with me. What I can do is that I just can type in the card number in my email box. Okay, the moment I type the card number in my email box, what will happen is that it will be highlighted, okay, with an underline. As you can see in this scenario, 7311. I mean, this is a particular card number that I want to look at, and it's been highlighted. So in a typical scenario, I would have to be dependent on the IT teams, or I would have had to log on to a separate BI portal to have a look at the report. But in this scenario, what I'm doing is that the moment I enter the card number, okay, that particular card number has been highlighted for me. And see, the moment I hover over this particular number, all the detailed information with regards to this car, it's actually being displayed to me. Like the 7311 is the plate number. In addition to this, what are all the required details for this particular car? For example, this 7311 car belongs to Zach. Okay, what is the brand name like? What is the car type like? So all the key KPI information, it's actually being received. Okay, then I have the status of completion. So whatever you want, whatever kind of data that you want, you can implement in here. So another example that you can look at is this 3456. Another example that you can look at it is that suppose you're a sales-based organization. Okay, you're a sales-based organization, and you have and let's suppose that you are the sales director, and under you have a lot of salesperson who are actually on the ground doing a lot of work. Okay, so and every week on a weekly basis you have got meetings with the sales team. So like speaking my personal experience, like what I have seen is that the management basically spends like half of the day in the meetings, get just to know the status of each and every opportunity, like each and like what is a particular individual salesperson doing. I mean, just assume like how much time is wasted just to know the status updates. Okay, like how is the sales performance like, I mean, what is the pipeline like. What if you are enabling your sales director with this feature, this hyper intelligence feature? For example, I have someone named Hassan. Okay, okay, this is my salesperson Hassan in my email. Again, I'm just typing his name. What I'm doing is the moment I type his name, it's actually being highlighted. And the moment I hover over this particular name, all the key KPI information that I want to look for my particular salesperson of my sales team is actually being displayed. Like Hassan is my salesperson. He works for the government sector. He's based in Jeddah. This is his email ID. This is his contact number. Okay, and this is what consolidated pipeline looks like. What are the number of risks, what are the number of upsides, what are the commits, and what are the number of bills along with their respective values. In addition to this, one good feature that you have with this hyper intelligence is it's actually recommendations. Okay, these are the recommendations that actually comes as a part of the machine learning. So another good thing about hyper, like the data that you see, uh, it's the thing is that the good thing about this data is that it can be connected with more than 150 plus data sources. Okay, no matter what kind of data source you have in the background, like if you're working in a pretty big organization, it's understood that you might have a good data warehouse strategy in place, and you have multiple data sources coming in. So this cards can sit perfectly on top of that. Okay, no, and in addition to this, no matter what kind of data source you have, like more than one, it has got data access drivers for more than 150 plus data sources. Another good thing is that it can easily be integrated with the machine learning algorithms. You see this? Uh, the node that you see is actually can easily be integrated with the machine learning algorithms, and based on the pattern of the data that you have in your database or in your data warehouse across the enterprise, the machine learning algorithms can actually suggest you like why there is a slowness in the pipeline, or can suggest you the ways to improve. Okay, so this is another example that I actually showed you, Hassan. Now let's say I have another uh, salesperson named Abdullah. The moment I highlight hover my mouse over this particular keyword, the respective information is being displayed to me. In a typical scenario, what would I have done as a sales director? Okay, first thing, it's actually the manual meetings that I do basically do with my sales team. Okay, the manual meeting on a weekly basis. I mean, a lot of time is wasted on that. Second thing, I would have had to relied upon the reports in Power BI, Tableau, Click, whatever. Okay, and as you know, like executives are actually that the time is money for them. So instead of wasting their time in having the need to log onto the screen, enter the username, password, navigate to the uh, a specific level of folder, they need to wait for the report to pop up and open. All that, all things can be avoided with this hyper intelligence feature. So this is another thing. Another view of hyper intelligence, what I can do is that in this particular let's I need to look at partner. Let me check partner A. Yeah. Okay. So this is another example. I am an organization that actually works with a set of partners, and I need to know the details of my partner, like what is his credit limit like, and what are the inventory, like whatever information you have. See, you see this. Whatever information that I want, I'm being displayed. Partner. This is the third example. Another example, that familiar example that all of you can relate to, is actually the POs. Okay, like enterprises actually work with POs on a regular basis. All enterprises across the globe, they have got a procurement department, and procurement department heavily deals with the supplies of the materials inside the organization, no matter what it might be. Okay, and they actually deal highly with the PO. Now, so let's suppose that you are the head of the procurement department and you need to know the details about a particular purchase order. What would you do in a typical scenario? Again, you would have had to log on to the ERP system. You would have need to log into the Power BI, like, or a Tableau, Click, whatever BI reporting platform, or you would have had to relied upon the MIS teams. But in this scenario, what I can do is that I just can enter the PO number. Okay, the moment I enter the PO number and highlight my mouse over that, all the key KPI information that I'm looking for will be displayed to me. This is my PO number, and this is the BU unit that actually had ordered. This is the department. This is whom it has been requested by. What is the PO value? What is the invoice value? The amount paid, the delivery, the key KPIs. So it's not that it has. I mean, this hypercards, the hyper intelligence features that you are seeing in here, they do not have any fixed format. I mean, you can display any kind of data that you want. Okay, no matter what kind of data you want. I mean, but the most important thing is that you need to display the key KPI figures, key KPI data that will actually help you take the right decision at the right point of time. Okay, it's not that like you have data in front of you and you're not able to take a decision. I mean, you should not be doing that, because you have mammoth data lying across the organizations. So the key point here is defining the right KPIs and presenting it in the right way. Okay, another sample that I can show to you is that there is another PO. Let me look at the PO 4100001. Okay, it's not there. No, sorry, it's not there. So this is how not popping up. There might be some issue. 373. Okay. So this is another example, like as I said earlier. So, and suppose if you wish to see the line items with this particular PO, what you can do is that you can add the line items in here. Okay, in this particular pop-up or the card that you're seeing in here, or you can also add a transactional report. For example, you need to have a detailed view of the data. Okay, then you can actually link to those reports directly on this cards, and from here you can navigate to that particular report. Okay, fine. So as and there are various examples of hypercards. Let me show you how they actually look like. There is, okay, let me log on this. As you see here, you can see these are some of the samples that you have. Okay, that you can create for the hypercards. I mean, you can create a customer card. This is what a customer card actually looks like. Okay, on your mobile. For example, you need to look. You're looking for a particular customer. Then the thing is that with the power of the mobile in your hand, with the power, what you can do is you can directly search for that particular customer, and a card will pop up for you. These are various examples of the hypercards. I mean, how it can be designed and what key information that you're looking at. For example, if you're working in a logistic industries, you might be interested in looking what are the on-time shipments, what is the order picking accuracy, what is the order fill rate, I mean, and what is the average warehouse capacity, and how many overtimes, labor overtime over is being calculated. So these are various examples that you see in here. Okay, so the kind of data that you can see within the hypercard is actually limitless. No matter what kind of data you have, no matter what kind of business scenario you have, hypercards are actually a perfect choice for your executives and for your workforce to enable them rightly. Because as we know that a lot of people across the organization are not tech savvy. Okay, oh, and the another thing is that people are actually looking to save time. Fine. When in this I mean, in the present situation that we have right now, people are actually looking to save time and save money. I mean, they so hyper intelligence can be a perfect fit. Okay, because I mean, there is not a huge investment that is actually required, like in terms of the but if you consider it on the monetary side, when as you would have done in the other BI tools. The second thing is that the another most important thing that you need to take into consideration when you're designing hypercards is that you need to have a proper data strategy defined within your organization. Like if you do not have a strong data governance or a data, if you do not have a strong data governance strategy within your organization, then having this hypercards will be of no use. So the basic the criteria that you need to have for having this hypercard is that is good data should be present in your enterprise. If that particular data is not present, then there are other ways that you need to explore. I mean, that is a separate discussion altogether that you that we need to talk about. Okay, so coming to this, sorry, I just got carried away with on the data governance strategy part. So these are the various other examples that you see for the hypercards. Okay, in the banking sector, like for the customer, the relationship manager, for the complaint. I mean, this is the stock ticker card that can actually be used by, I mean, your what do you call the department that actually deals with the share markets within organizations, or actually monitoring the market on a second to second basis. Okay, I mean, this is the risk card that can actually be used by the risk management within the banking sector, and actually gives you the detailed liquidity risk view. This is the branch card. I mean, it can give the information how the branch is performing. So you might say that, okay, what you're showing, what the examples that you're showing, what you is actually good, but what we feel is that this is actually another view of another way of viewing the data. Okay, for this, what I would say is that let's take the example of the world wide web. Okay, you have tremendous volume of data that is lying across the internet. Okay, and I mean, there are a lot of tools. I mean, and if you need to look for a particular source of information, I mean, you have tools that you can use to dig down that information. Okay, there are a lot of tools that you can use to dig down the information that you're looking at that is lying across the internet. But what do you usually do? I mean, you actually use a Google search, right? I mean, you go to the Google, you search for a particular keyword, and all the information related to that particular keyword is actually being displayed to you, right? I mean, why are you using that? Because it saves your time. Okay, and it is actually giving you the information that you're looking for. You're not going to the information as it's actually being displayed to you directly on your computer screens. You're not going to look for the information. The moment you type in on the Google search bar, the information is actually being retrieved through complex algorithms and is being displayed to you. Right? So that is, I mean, a similar analogy can actually be drawn with the hyperintelligence. So in your, like, consider your organization, the data across your organization similar to the data that you have on the internet. You have plethora of data that is actually floating around. Now, to search across your data will actually be a cumbersome. I mean, to search across the data through the lines, through the hidden patterns using the standard traditional BI tools will be a difficult task. It will be a cumbersome task for you. But using hyperintelligence, it's actually like you're supercharging your, I mean, I would say, uh, data intelligence capabilities. It is actually acting like a Google on top of your data. So this is what hyperintelligence is basically all about. Okay, and these are again some of the samples that you can see: the regulatory compliance card, the product card. I mean, the list is endless. I mean, you have got various cards in here. No matter what business case you have, it can easily implement. So to summarize it all up, hyperintelligence is all about injecting analytics directly into the application that you're using on a daily basis. And the second thing, it has got a big advantage over other BI tools in terms of the kind of information it provides, in terms of the crisp information it provides. Okay, the timely information it provides. The third advantage, obviously, it's actually the monetary value. The kind of investment that you make and the kind of returns that you get in return. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Okay, so that's actually pretty much it about hyperintelligence. Now, just let me know if you have any doubts or something that you wish to ask, if you have any questions or something. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot for attending this webinar. Thanks a lot. Appreciate